Here's the question. How do you make the impossible possible? Simple. Remove the I am, the ego. Now, how do you step into that newfound possibility? With a series of small intentional steps. Never forget, the greatest among us started from humble beginnings. But to truly unlock your potential, realize you're here for something greater. If you're yearning for more than just a good life, let's take that small step together to reach greatness. Welcome to the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, where we're talking to those who have gone from mediocrity to motivated, overlooked to overachieving, forgettable to unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, another episode coming. And I am so grateful to be here. It's been a long week. Have you ever had one of those? I'm recording this just a few days before the new episode drops on Monday. Today is a Friday. And it's like, oh my goodness, I need to get a couple more episodes done. But it's been a week that everything, it seems like, has changed. And when it changes, it takes more time to readjust. It had to do with family, had to do with business, and the way those two fit together. And man, it has been a week. Not all bad, but it's been a week. So I wanted to take a moment today and talk about servant leadership. And then I will dovetail it. Like most of you that know me personally know that almost every story that I do, almost everything important that I talk about dovetails somehow with some kind of biblical story. And this is no different. I'm going to talk about servant leadership. At least that's the label I put on it. But it's some points that I drug off of the internet and a couple of spots. I've been thinking deeply about this and thinking about how we become great. And as I'm busy, as my schedule's changing, as I'm literally yesterday, because my daughter had some kind of minor surgery. She was out of commission. I had her kids for a bit. My wife had this crisis at work. She had to go to work. And I'm out of the blue. I'm with the kids all of a sudden, like it had to happen. And well, my schedule at that moment was the most flexible. So I was home with the youngsters. And the boy, my daughter's son, is a little bit crazy. And not only does he, when we first get home, does he just disappear. I have no idea where he went. Well, there was a machine working in my backyard, an excavator, and he cannot stay away from those. So I had to literally, it took me a couple of minutes of panic to figure out where he was. I should have known that he was near the excavator, which of course put him in danger and had to fix that problem. But as my life changed and as my life basically got turned upside down multiple times this week, typically I run 3 times a week just because I need to stay in shape. I like to run close to an hour each of those 3 times, which puts me at somewhere around 15 miles a week. This week I did, a little over 7, maybe 7.5, which is nowhere near where I want to be. But that's the way it is. And nonetheless, I believe my heart and my lungs are still better for it, even if I did it only half of what I normally do. But I'm going to talk about servant leadership. At least that's the title I put on it. And then talk about a biblical story that talks about somewhat about it. So pulled 7 points in here, and I'm going to go through them. I'm going to adjust them, the order just a little bit off of the page here. But I got this idea because I was listening recently to a YouTube recording of John Maxwell, and he said, if you want to be a good leader, then you have to serve people. And he goes back and quotes somebody who is his good friend, Zig Ziglar. Help others get what they want in life, and you'll get everything that you want, is the way similar to the way he often stated it. And John Maxwell quoted that, even different than I quoted it, but Zig Ziglar said it many different ways, but essentially it's the same concept. Serve others, and you'll get everything you want, plus some. So here we go. Number 1, serving others demonstrates humility, selflessness, and qualities that are essential for effective leadership. That's John Maxwell's main point, is that serving others creates effective leadership. If you want to lead well, then you have to have the people around you in mind. And that might mean I was standing with a couple of guys today. One of them was this above the other in the pecking order, so to speak, on the accountability chart, the org chart. And the one was asking the other the question, and he said, "I'm not going to answer your question. You need to go back to those other people that are on the same level as you, and you guys figure out what's going where on what day. Because if I answer you, you might go to them and say, well, he said this." And he, of course, is all three, their boss. He said this. And if that goes back to them, then they're going to say, well, he said that. I guess we adjust from there. But that might not have been the best way. And I thought it was very well placed that sometimes we have to push back and say, no, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm going to lead you by forcing you to have a conversation or think deeply about whatever the subject is. And this is how I'm going to serve you, by humbly saying, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not your answer. And then that's also selfless. It not only helps you because it removes you from being the main thing to that person, always the answer person, but it also ignites them. And that's actually an act of selflessness. That's very important to do. So we serve others by, number two, by putting the needs of others first. In that case, he was putting the other three people, though two of them weren't there, in the right position, putting their needs first because they need to collaborate and just feed back the information that this is what we're going to do. And this seems to us the best way to do it. Because if something goes sideways or if the decision is wrong, they need to be the ones that adjust for it anyway, not the supervisor, not the leader in this case. By putting other needs first, a leader can build trust, respect, and loyalty among the team members, which of course is one of the things that energize a team, is loyalty amongst the people, collaboration that builds loyalty. Number three, serving others fosters a positive and collaborative work environment where everyone feels valued and supported. And as important as feels valued and supported is actually valued and supported. And that's where literal leadership comes from, is my heart, the inside of me. True leadership is me deciding, am I going to value them and support them? Now, I don't have to like them necessarily, or the way they operate, or the kind of decisions they make, or the way they make decisions. I do need to value them and support them if they are on my team. And if they are, then collaborate, have a collaborative work environment, and then they will be more energized in the process. They will become better themselves and better leaders of those who they're over in the accountability chart. Number four, when a leader serves others, they are able to understand and address the needs and concerns of their team more effectively. What that basically means to me is the key word in that whole sentence is understands. They're able to understand and address. So I heard recently that someone said, the one that's most aware has the most power. Well, if you're looking for power, that's one way to see it. And I don't necessarily agree with the power side of this thing, but the one that is the most aware, has the greatest level of understanding, is the one that can get the furthest in leading the people. So that being said, when we serve others, we put ourselves in a position of higher understanding by taking them into account, taking all the details into account, and then allowing them to make decisions and then supporting them as those decisions. And some of them are not done the way we would like. And some of them actually fail a little bit in the process, or sometimes a lot. But that's the way they learn and become better themselves. So again, I'll repeat number 4. When a leader serves others, they're able to understand and address the needs and concerns of the team more effectively. I believe the key word is understanding. Number 5, serve others. Serving others can inspire and motivate team members to work more together toward a common goal, leading to a greater success and productivity. This is in any organization, including family, and yet this podcast today is leaning more towards business, business leaders. And don't we want more success for each person? We want them to succeed and put them in a position to succeed every day, every moment, and then higher productivity. We really want that. We're not in business to practice. We're not in business to do stuff. We're in the business to make money, to profit, and then use that profit to then change lives. That's what we do here at K&L in our business. Number 6, leaders who prioritize serving others are more likely to create a culture of empathy, compassion, and inclusivity within their organizations. It also, if I might add, adds an exclusivity, because when we lead well and we build a culture of the first couple of things, empathy, compassion, and compassion, that doesn't actually fit some people. They don't actually want to fit there. They want to be special. They want to be different. They want to be included, but at a higher level. And sometimes there's not a good cultural fit with some people. And so it's really important that we serve others by seeing the culture and how they fit into it. And in that, and then push into that with each person, mostly men in our company, a 90% men in my company. And empathy and compassion doesn't tend to be the first go-to response. So we as leaders need to push them towards that. And I believe that we can and should. Number 7, ultimately, serving others as a leader can lead to personal growth, fulfillment, and lasting impact on those around them. That is why I live. I live for that personal growth that then transforms me, that gives me my 3 key words are joy, peace, and fullness. So fulfillment and a lasting impact. The kind of the motto, the common theme around the business that I'm in is transforming lives one shovel at a time. We all have shoveling to do, so we're here to help you shovel. And of course, that's shoveling stuff out of your life, shoveling the good stuff in. And we all have that to do. So that lasting impact is super important. And it comes through me viewing myself as someone that needs to grow, which enhances my fulfillment and theirs, the process. That being said, the biblical story that fits well with this is David and Saul. Saul was the first king of Israel a couple of thousand years, and I don't have the numbers. I should have the numbers. At least 1,000 years before Jesus came, and Jesus was from a nation of Israel. But Saul was the country, the people were asking God for a king. God gave him a king. They gave him Saul. Now, Saul was a man of faith, and he was also a man of stature. But the kingship, the fact that he was king, kind of made him stumble over his own ego, and he ended up being not a very good person. But the second king God chose was David, but it was 11 years, I believe, between the time that David was chosen until the time he became king, because Saul still lived. What David understood that Saul did not is that he needed to serve. He needed to serve God, and he needed to serve the people by honoring the king that God had put in place. Now, Saul became desperately envious, jealous of David, and David, that people like David more than him, perhaps. There was some chanting. The people would say, Saul conquered 1,000, David conquered tens of thousands, something to that effect. And he got jealous about that. So for most of that 11 years, he was chasing David to kill him. He went a little crazy. But that craziness revealed the weakness in the country, because he wasn't serving people anymore. He was serving himself. He wasn't serving the country. He wasn't serving the nation. He was serving only himself. And it really stunted the growth of the nation. But David was sure to honor that. At one point, David had the chance to kill him. Everybody was sleeping. David was there alone. He could have killed Saul, but he did not, because he honored the position that God puts Saul in. I believe that's a great testimony of how we all need to serve, is that we serve from concept. We serve, and this is whether we're a father, a mother, a business owner, a church board member, or the head of some ministry at church, is we serve others by giving of ourselves. And really, I go back to this list, and it's really about collaboration and understanding who it is we're serving and what they need to build them into the best possible team. And in this case, in the case of David and Saul, the best possible nation. And the interesting thing is that finally Saul went away. He died, not at the hand of David, and David was crowned king. And then because David served and continued to serve God, the nation prospered. And he made good decisions based on the fact that he was serving God and serving people, which is, I believe, what we all should be doing. That being said, I go back to what I started with, what I almost always start with, is that I've been thinking about greatness again. How we become more great, how we take that thing that makes us a tiny bit different than everybody else in this world. And it may be as low as 1%. I heard someone say, I read a book recently that had that in there. It was basically 1% sets me apart from everybody else, including women, surprisingly. But God built that 1% in for me to figure out that 1% and then become different, become great because of it. And that's what I believe David was doing. We all have that opportunity. You have that opportunity to be great in this world and in this life. And some of the tools that I've just given you in regards to teamwork and serving those you're leading, whether that's your family, your company, church, any place, we're always leading somebody, including ourselves. That's why one of the things talked about self-improvement, and it is very personal improvement is what it stated. It's very important. I would recommend listening to some of John Maxwell's iterations, sermons, so to speak, on leadership. He gives biblical accounts of leadership, and those are very important and very robust. The story that I got this David and Saul from was The Tale of Three Kings. It's very interesting. It's in the process of changing my life. It's made me far more humble in situations where I just wanted to lash out. And essentially, the analogy that he drew in the book was throw spears. And sometimes I wrap my fingers around a spear and I get ready to throw it at someone when I should put the spear down and consider the ramifications of me throwing a spear, especially as the leader, as the patriarch, as the one that people look to for confidence. I should not throw spears. So those are two resources to look into. There's lots more. Reach out to me in the comments. Please like and share this video and the others. I believe this is episode number 20, I don't know, must be 25 or so. And I appreciate you listening. And I end this one with the way I end all of them, with a call to action. Now go be great.